Welcome to ESPN College Football, presented by Vizio. A morning kickoff here in the Mid-South. Beautiful Nashville, Tennessee is the site as the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers make the hour-long drive here to take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. These two teams meet for the third straight year. An exciting matchup on hand. We're glad you're with us. Mike Cousins and John Congemi, two strong quarterbacks in this game, and whoever plays better could decide the winner.
Yeah, and for Vandy, it's Kyle Shermer. He does a great job of finding the end zone. 4 touchdowns and a loss last week at South Carolina. He's done it twice this year in 2017, 18 for the season. That's second in the SEC, and he has 2 rushing touchdowns. So he can move the pocket, he can deal from the pocket, and he just gets better each and every game, and I think that's what Vanderbilt likes. And on the other side, for Mike White, he leads Conference USA in completion percentage. He's closing in on 10,000 yards for his career, and these two head coaches like their quarterbacks, and they will win by throwing the football today.
We've reached the month of November, a very successful one last year for Derek Mason with the vest, so the vest is back for Coach
That's
Mason.
Right.
As he goes up against the second youngest coach in FBS, Mike Sanford, the 35-year-old. Only Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley is younger. Opening kickoff 5 yards deep. And there's Wakefield, who takes a knee. And it's 1st and 10, coming out to the 25 for Vanderbilt at 3-5, 0-5 in conference play. Today is a chance to regain control of their season with only 4 games left, counting today.
And it wasn't so much what Vanderbilt has done over the last 5 weeks. It's the opponents that they've played in the SEC. It just, you go to Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Ole Miss, and South Carolina. Now, you make the argument last week they could have won that football game, but turnovers and penalties, those are the things they have to correct to win at home today.
Shermer and Webb in the backfield, and it's going to the air on 1st down as Kalijah Lipscomb makes the catch, the sophomore from New Orleans, who has grown leaps and bounds according to this coaching staff as the year has gone on.
He started fast early in this season, then hit a little bit of a lull, and now he's coming back. And I think due to the passing game and the way this ball spreads out in this offense, he's been one of those main guys, especially down the field, finding touchdowns.
Under center on 1st down and 10 after a pickup of 10 on the first play of the game for the junior quarterback Shermer. And it's Webb off to the left side, who's met head on there on the outside by the safety Devin Key. Good to see Webb back on the field after just 6 carries last week against South Carolina. It became a very thin running back core last week for Vandy, with his rib injury being the foremost among them.
And that's the play you want to see from Webb. Is he physical enough? Is he healthy enough to take on a tackler? But you like to see Webb make somebody miss at that second level.
Second down and 8. Webb changes direction, now stumbles toward midfield. The ball comes loose, and he picks it back up as he gets 1st down yardage, a gain of 13 for the redshirt senior out of Gainesville, Florida.
2 positive runs, and that's what you like to see. If you're a Vanderbilt fan, you have to get something out of the running game.
Bottom 5 in the country in terms of yards per game, and in rushing yards out of the 14-team SEC, just under 94 a game. They are last and 3rd to last with 23 points a game.
After 2 successful running plays, you might want to go play action and maybe take a shot down the field.
Right through the middle, it's Dallas Rivers, who now has 12 carries on the year. Here's a guy, number 28 in the gold, who's listed as a fullback. He was a running back earlier in his career, shifted there out of necessity, and picked up the bulk of the workload after Webb went down last week.
And you talked to offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig, which we did yesterday. You feel like Rivers can play anywhere on this offense. He's just Mr. Do everything in this offense, and he'll be asked to carry the football today.
Marcus, the tight end, in motion to the left side. That's where the run goes, and a stiff arm attempt is thwarted for Rivers. cut down by Masai White, the redshirt junior linebacker, getting the start today.
Boy, what a good play behind the line of scrimmage. That's just good speed and going from the left side of the offense all the way across the field and then tracking down Dallas Rivers behind the line of scrimmage. Good tackle for loss by White. Those negative plays put you behind the chains, and this is where you have problems. You want to try to get after the quarterback on third down.
Third and a dozen against an offensive line that's only given up 10 sacks this year. They buy lots of time for Shermer, who floats the ball over top for Trent Sherfield and dances his way to a first down between the hash marks.
Shermer just made something out of nothing. That play goes for 15 yards, and it should have been a sack or an incompletion. He's able to extend plays while keeping his eyes down the field, and then what a touch pass to Sherfield for a first down.
That's been the importance of what offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig has said, is just keeping him clean in the pocket, give him the ability, the chance to make those plays. With movement on the handoff, it's Sam Dobbs, the tight end, powering his way for a first down, carrying the pile inside the red zone. All 6'4", 230 pounds of him for 18 yards.
I think this is where the size of Vanderbilt takes over. You get strength on the line of scrimmage. You've got a tight end that looks like a fullback that can run on the perimeter. And this is what Vanderbilt's been facing over the last 5 weeks. They've been playing teams that are bigger, faster, and stronger. I think today they're Alabama, they're Georgia, compared to a lighter, smaller defense that they're going up against for the Hilltoppers.
Play fake for Webb. The short throw inside the 20-yard line continues the offensive surge, and the tight ends remain involved. Jared Pinkney has his 15th catch of 2017.
Red zone numbers very good for Vanderbilt. They need to finish. They want to be able to get in the end zone on this opening drive, make a statement. And they've made a statement throughout the year in scoring touchdowns.
John, you talked about how Vandy has the size advantage today. Look back what they had done against them rushing-wise. Bama went for almost 500. Georgia, a shade under 430. They want to be that dominant today with Webb and the like.
I like what they're doing, Mike. They're getting the running game involved early. They're finding the tight ends. They're getting it to a playmaker on the outside in Sherfield. And now you have to make good, clean decisions, and more importantly, timing with the football if you're going to throw it down here in the red zone.
From the 6-yard line, Webb is quickly swallowed up. Derek Overstreet, the senior from Paducah, Kentucky, makes the stop. And now it's 3rd and goal from the 4.
And I wonder, with the momentum early in this game, is it a 4-down territory for Vanderbilt early in the game? They want to push the football in the end zone, impose their will up front. This just tells me right here, I'm looking for play action on 3rd down, possibly to move the pocket for Shermer.
Well, they load up huge. 2 tight ends to the bottom of the screen. Shermer looks that way as the pressure goes by him and into the back of the end zone. He finds Trent Sherfield for the opening drive 6.
Number one, great protection in the pocket, and then terrific patience to allow his wide receiver to clear from the right side all the way across the back of the end zone, run the perimeter, and then throw a dart for 6 points.
Shermer perfect on the opening drive, 4 for 4. And boy, did he show off some good patience. Tommy Openshaw for the extra point. You mentioned perhaps 4-down territory. See if that comes into play later in the game. Didn't have to worry about it to get it started. Welcome back to the SEC on ESPN. A great day for college football here in Nashville. Mike Cousins and John Congemi with you as Vanderbilt has opened up a 7-0 lead over the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Nice start for Derek Mason and company. Kyle Shermer finding Trent Sherfield in the back of the end zone to cap off the opening drive. And the Tops get ready to touch the ball for the first time today.
Well, Mike, that was a tone setter for me. You know, it sets the tone on offense. We're going to try to win the battle up front, protect our quarterback as we've done pretty much the entire year, and let our playmakers do something. And now the Hilltoppers on special teams and offense, they need to find a way to respond.
Openshaw's kickoff out of the back of the end zone. A lot of college football to get your day started, and you can follow it all on the ESPN app. Every ESPN and ABC college football game live at home or on the go. You got a couple of top 15 teams in action right now with Wisconsin and Indiana on ABC and Auburn on the road in College Station taking on A&M.
Thanks for your assistance last week, by the way, with this with the app. Got it rolling when I was in Dallas-Fort Worth. Got to watch a few games. Due to your help.
I would like you to have a legitimate login so you're not scouring the corners of the internet.
I found my information.
For illegal college
just officially,
football
I found my information.
Not that those exist or anything.
No.
First play of the day goes to Jakari Moses, the freshman running back out of Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. One of a handful of running backs we expect to see, about 4 today for Western Kentucky. White gives it up inside. An immediate penetration from Jordan Griffin brings the play to an end.
Tackles for loss. You'll see a couple of these today because of the inability to lock on up front for both teams. And Mike White's going to have to do the job of rescuing this offense when it fails on first or second down by converting on third down. They've done a pretty good job of converting on third down this season.
Commodores bring 4, and the pass is behind the intended target. Jaquez Sloan from White, the transfer from the University of South Florida, second year as a starter. And Derek Mason's defense holds on the opening drive.
Good pressure up front and nice coverage in the back end for head coach Derek Mason. He's got that defensive mindset. He handles the defense and he pressures White in the pocket. And they'll have to punt it back to the Commodores here on 4th down.
Elijah Lipscomb back at the 30-yard line. And we got a whistle as the ball was snapped.
Might have been delay of game.
Delay of game on the offense, number 49. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
It looked like there was a little bit of confusion for them getting set up there.
There was, and you don't want to compound going 3 and out with adding another 5 yards to your kicking game.
So it's Jake Collins, a redshirt junior out of Louisville, ready to punt. Nice ball toward the sideline, sends Lipscomb retreating. And it's marked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. 7:55 left in the first. Vandy with a score and a stop. Commodores take the ball back.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Dr. Scholl's massaging gel insoles.
Back here in Nashville, Tennessee, the Commodores with a 7-0 advantage over the Hilltoppers of Western Kentucky. Very nice opening drive for Kyle Shermer and company. He was 4 for 4 on that first drive, and they really spread the ball around.
They did. 6 different skill players utilized in that drive, including a rush by a tight end, 3 different receivers. So Shermer was able to spread the football out on that first drive that led to a touchdown.
Following the punt, first down from the 33-yard line, and a fastball to the outside falls incomplete. Caleb Scott, the senior, on the outside.
Boy, and you have to have that. That's just a terrific throw from the pocket, an intentional throw behind. And when we take a look back at that Buick drive recap, it was a little bit of everything. We mentioned 6 different skill receivers touching the football. Lincecum outside started, and then a great touch pass over the top to Sherfield, and then terrific pass protection, scanning the defensive secondary in the red zone, and then finding Sherfield for the touchdown. Good pass protection, nice step up in the pocket, and deliver by Shermer.
Webb trying to find some running room, and there's nowhere to go up front behind what's been a remade offensive line this year. During the season, both guards replaced on the offensive line, and Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, says this has been the best combination of 5 they've put out there this year.
Best 5 they can find are playing today at home, so you have to be able to come out and dominate the line of scrimmage. And on 3rd down, you never want to be 3rd and plus 10 to be able to convert on a consistent basis. This is the 2nd try for the Commodores.
They converted 3rd and 13 on the opening drive that ended with a touchdown. This ball is batted away out of the hand of Shermer and incomplete. So the defensive line, even not necessarily getting to the quarterback, but getting a hand up. Demetrius Kane helps get the punt team on the field.
Not a whole lot of pressure in the pocket. You're right, the offensive line did a pretty good job, but scanning the secondary, you get hands in the throwing lanes, and that's just a good job awareness of when that quarterback's ready to throw the football. Kane anticipated it at the end of the line of scrimmage, got a hand to bat it away.
Sam Loy makes the leaping grab, buys himself a little bit of time, and Nicarius Font calling for the fair catch. That bounced off of a helmet, and now a flag comes in as the ball settles the 13-yard line. Vandy players getting a little bit too close.
It was crowded around that punt returner.
So the officials converge before we get the call here from the referee, Matt Leffler. You know what that reminds you of? You ever watch those This Week in Baseball videos? And I think it was Jose Canseco who had the home run go off his head.
Kick catch interference on the kicking team. Number 16, 15-yard penalty. 1st down. Timeout.
Well, you can't necessarily have eyes in the back of your head, but sometimes it might help. Mike Sanford, the former Boise State quarterback, trying to be the next in a long string of successful head coaches at Western Kentucky. You go back to now the Oregon head coach, Willie Taggart, who went to USF in between. 1-year stop for Bobby Petrino before going back to Louisville. And then Jeff Brom, who went 30-10, went to 3 bowl games, and now at Purdue, looking for win number 4 this week. And the wins might not necessarily reflect for the Boilermakers this year, but the offense
different
has seen
team.
a huge surge.
That's right.
DeAndre Furby brought down by the shoulders out to the 41-yard line. And that was an important thing for Sanford, who is the 2nd youngest FBS coach behind Oklahoma's Lincoln Riley, was what do you inherit and how do you coach your guys into your scheme when taking over as a 1st-year head coach?
How do you implement your system on offense to complement what you have?
That ball short hops Sloan. 2nd time he's been targeted on this side of the field today. And fortunately for Sanford, he inherited a great quarterback. Mike White last year went for 4,300 yards and 37 touchdowns and has been like a sponge in terms of doing what they've asked.
Well, he's a pro-style quarterback who can deal from the pocket, and you're right, he's able to take all of that knowledge that Mike Sanford wanted to give on his offense and be able to utilize it and put it into play on the field.
Heavy rush, pocket holds, pass is complete into Vanderbilt territory. Lucky Jackson, the native of Lexington, with a pickup of 34 yards and a 3rd down conversion.
If Vanderbilt's going to play man coverage, they have to be able to affect the pocket and affect the timing of quarterback Mike White. If not, Mike White will throw strikes today. And that was a perfect example right down the middle of the field of a strike for big yardage.
Throw back, and now looking downfield, wide open, Quentin Baker has it for the touchdown.
How about that call? After a huge play on third down, Mike White, what looks to be a harmless play, a lateral throw, had perfect time for Fant to go back and find a wide open receiver for a touchdown. That's just great execution. Baker all by himself to cradle that pass inside the 5-yard line, and with an extra point, this thing is all tied up.
Part of the game plan is to be able to get Baker, the running back, into space, and he had nothing but that around him as the Hilltoppers even this game at 7. Well, as the underdog team going on the road, even just an hour away, sometimes you got to have something a little special.
A lot of smiles on that Hilltopper sideline. A little trickeration early in this game gets this ball game tied up.
That might be one of America's most unique mascots.
Big Red?
Big Red.
Big Red's feeling it right now. And he should be.
For good reason. Necarius Fant with his 3rd touchdown pass of his career. First this year, he had 2 in 2015 as well, to hook up with Baker. And the kickoff goes out of the end zone, so all of a sudden, a little bit of juice. That's also, not to mention, their leading wide receiver.
He can do it all. And sometimes when you come in as a pretty heavy underdog, you need to find plays. You need to do something different to make up some offense, to do something on defense and on special teams. And that play gets Western Kentucky a feeling of we can hang with Vanderbilt on the road today.
Well, we mentioned that this is the final game of a 3-game series between these two schools. And in each of the last 2 meetings, the road team has been the winner. Webb gets a first down look, lowers the shoulder as he goes for a first down near the 40-yard line, toppled by Devin Key.
That was really good execution by the offensive line of sealing the edge of the defense to allow Webb to get outside on first down. Good blocking at the second level and getting some speed on the perimeter.
Webb coming off that 6-carry week, so he's already matched that total from last week when he didn't play in the second half against South Carolina with a rib injury. Picks up 2 yards on first down.
And for offenses that struggle to run the football, anytime you can get a run in the teens or a run in the 20s, you're adding to this offensive output.
A lot of motion. It ends up as a rollout pass for the tight end, Marcus. The bye week for Vanderbilt was crucial this year. After the Ole Miss game, and Andy Ludwig, the offensive coordinator, said that was a time for deep self-reflection, some difficult conversations, but basically how they were now going to pass to set up the run rather than vice versa.
You have to go through that self-scouting. What do we do best? How can we get our best 5 offensive linemen on the field? And does our offense run through the running game or through the passing game? They decided it runs through the right arm of Kyle Schumer, and he has to be able to continue to do that today.
Through the middle and nowhere to go. Chris Johnson, the defensive tackle, makes the stop. So Vanderbilt 3-5, has lost 5 straight, winless in SEC play. Got off to a great start this year. Middle Tennessee, Alabama A&M, and K-State, but has not won since. Lipscomb on the run with a flag down and angled out of bounds by the nickel back to Corian Darden.
This one might be coming back for motion against Vanderbilt.
A 19-yard pickup potentially negated.
More than 4 in the backfield, illegal formation on the offense. 5-yard penalty, replay, take it out.
John, you and I were here for the sellout game against K-State, and that was where this season looked like, hey, could Vandy get into the top 25? They were getting some votes as they went into that tough stretch that at that point featured number 18 K-State, 1 Bama, 25 Florida, number 13 Georgia in the AP poll. Here, a bowl is still within reach. 3 out of 4 down the stretch. You win 3 out of your last 4, and that's 6 wins for a Vanderbilt team that did go to a bowl last year. They don't like to talk about it too much, though. It was a lopsided loss at the hands of NC State in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, it was penalties last week that really hurt Vanderbilt. I believe 9 in the first half.
And 10 for the game.
And 10 for the game, and you take that run off the board by not properly lining up on offense, and you put yourself in a 3rd and 13 situation. Those runs are hard to find in this offense.
So another 3rd down behind the chains for the Commodores. Hoping to drop their anchor at least inside the 34 for a first down. A catch here would get the job done. Exactly what they got. Sherfield rises and delivers.
I remember that week 3 game that I really fell in love with this guy, Sherfield, not only as a player, but a person. On this one, he becomes a player. He climbs the ladder. 29 yards later, the Commodores are in the red zone at the 17-yard line. I love the way he competes for the football. He's got a good body type at 6'2", 205 pounds. Just get it close, and he's going to come down with it.
Second, 3rd, and 13 conversion for Vandy in the first quarter. So those long distances have not been too much of a problem. Nice blocking in front for Webb, who surges for 9. So he had Nathan Marcus, the tight end, helping lead the way and block off the edge.
Another example up front of trying to lean on the Hilltoppers front 7. They've had a lot of injuries at the defensive end, defensive tackle position. In the last 3 games, teams have been able to grind the football. 10 rushing touchdowns, almost 7 yards per touch. And that's where Vanderbilt wants to live a little bit today.
It's Webb inside the 5 toward the goal line. And he's in. A Vanderbilt touchdown for Ralph Webb.
Mike, solid in between the tackle running by Ralph Webb. He's going to break 2 or 3 arm tackles, 1 at the 5-yard line, and then muscle his way into the end zone for an 8-yard touchdown. Breaks an arm tackle at the line of scrimmage, another one at the 5-yard line, runs right through Green, the safety, and into the end zone.
It's a good thing they've got quite pliable jerseys. You saw the NBA had a problem earlier this year with some torn jerseys. Webb goes right through the contact and the pull. One PAT blocked last week. Nice diving attempt there. The extra point is good. It's 14-7 Vandy with 1:49 left in the first quarter. College football on ABC today. Number 4 Clemson and number 20 NC State at 3:30 Eastern. It's been all Clemson since NC State's last win in that series in 2011. And then 8 Eastern in the ACC, Virginia Tech and Miami. 7-0 versus 7-1. John, as a South Florida native, I turn to you as the expert here. It's been a while since Miami has been in a game this big, this late in the season.
It has, and it's been a while since they've been atop of the Coastal and done anything in the Coastal. They've never won a conference championship. They've never won an ACC championship. So Miami has it right out in front of them tonight at home against Virginia Tech, and then next week Notre Dame comes to town. So if they take care of business, they're right where they want to be moving up that ladder.
It's kind of the fun part of the early college football playoff release. We've got 1 of 6 in the books, but a lot of teams can control their own destiny with huge games on their schedule.
Very true. And Clemson the same way. You know, the Clemson comes in, they have a loss on their schedule. They've won 5 straight against NC State, looking to make it 6 and control their own destiny in the month of November.
Openshaw sends a returnable kick down to the goal line. A hard knock at the 15 for Deontay Ruffin on the return. So Mike Sanford's offense with Mike White at quarterback, number 14 there in the red and white, a guy who we mentioned started his career at the University of South Florida and was in and out of action over his first couple years, and then a guy who college football fans now know by the name of Quentin Flowers started to become the guy under Willie Taggart. White looked to play elsewhere, sat out in Bowling Green, Kentucky in 2015, and now his second year as a starter with his team looking to get win number 6 on the year today. Tiptoe and catch along the sideline by Xavier Lane and a pickup of 14.
Nice play call on first down. Offensive coordinator Junior Adams, head coach Mike Sanford doing a good job of moving the pocket, getting the pressure away from their veteran quarterback. And as we take a look at Mike's dad coaching those special teams for the Hilltoppers.
Baker trying to find some room. Gets to the 30-yard line after catching that touchdown pass from Nakarius Fant. Now Mike Sanford, the head coach on the right, says, you know, it's great to have your dad on staff, help you out, somebody to lean on. The tough part is, as a guy with 3 kids, 7 or younger, that's one guy who can't give you free babysitting because he's at the offices with you.
One less option.
On the slant, the ball thrown right on target, but shy of the sticks for Jernigan.
Well, Mike White needs to be careful when they run those stop routes to the outside. If he leads the wide receiver towards the cornerback, that's either going to be a collision or, even worse, an interception going the other way. So you have to be on target and on time and hit that back shoulder away from the defender on the edge.
Vanderbilt shows pressure on third down. A team that has struggled mightily to run the ball hands it off to DeAndre Furby on third down and gets the yardage they need to bring the first quarter right near zeros on the clock.
Well, that was good effort by Furby. He was hit about a half yard shy of the first down. He's able to move the pile for the first down.
Vandy strikes on the opening drive. A gadget play, the answer for Western Kentucky. And in 2017, Furby is still alive. More than just one father-son combo for Western Kentucky. Steve Spurrier Jr. is the quarterback's coach for the Hilltoppers, and his dad, the head ball coach, is here. He's not just another guy wearing some Western Kentucky gear.
No, you know, it was great. He has the Western Kentucky visor, which is classic, right? He's got the T-shirt, but he had the Florida shoes on. He had the blue and orange shoes on. Well, that was great. Coach, just a great man, and it was good to chat with him before the game.
So he and a legion of red on the bench behind Western Kentucky. White gets flushed out and overthrows Mike Dean, his tight end target. Dean getting more action than usual today at tight end with the team's leading receiver overall, Dion Yelder, out today with an ankle injury. That's a big blow for them.
It's a big loss because they love to get the tight end involved. So Dean has to pick up some of that slack. The rushing game that's been really non-existent has to get a couple runs, but it puts more pressure on Mike White, who did a great job of just throwing that football away and avoiding the loss on first down.
2nd and 10, a run up the middle. Emmanuel Smith, the inside linebacker who didn't play last week, in there to make the stop, and that's a big guy to have on the field for Derek Mason.
Well, this defense improves when guys like Smith and Burks are back in the middle of the Commodore defense. They've been battling injuries at that position, a lot of different guys at safety and linebacker, and today it seems like everybody's back for that November run for head coach Derek Mason.
It's a time of year, John, where every head coach complains we're injured and then adds the qualifier, but you know what?
Doesn't matter.
So's everybody else.
That's right.
White on the run, and down he goes, back at the 28-yard line. Dual pursuit led by Charles Wright, and he's got his team-leading 7th sack of the year.
Charles Wright can get after opposing quarterbacks. He has size, he has speed, and when he's in the offensive backfield, he can create negative plays. This sack goes for minus 12 yards, and he had Mike White in his sights the entire time. Had some help in the backfield, but Wright was the guy that started the pressure.
They had to play without him for a good chunk of last week's game against South Carolina. Ejected on a targeting call. One of 2 players, the other the safety Zaire Jones, who lost playing time as well. Lipscomb up to grab it after a kick of 42. Let's take a look at our championship drive update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper, with a look around the rest of the league here today for the SEC. And Auburn's going to be a team, not just today, but with its schedule down the stretch, taking on both Georgia and Alabama, that can have some chaos thrown into the college football playoff rankings.
They will have some impact on who goes where in the SEC, and then Georgia later, they're looking to stay perfect, and LSU and Alabama, the rivalry renewed in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama, a 3-touchdown favorite in that one at home. And an interesting game for Will Muschamp as well. Shermer looking deep down the middle of the field and overthrown. But for Muschamp, it's his first time facing Georgia as a head coach back at Sanford Stadium, because he's done it 5 times already, 4 times at Florida, but that game played in Jacksonville, and then last year in Columbia.
It'll be interesting. You know, Georgia's such a good football team, and in the SEC in the month of November, you're going to get some heavyweight battles, and you're going to get some time off when you play a lesser opponent as they get ready for those rivalry matchups.
Toward the sideline and lost by Webb. So now it's 3rd down and 10 after 2 incomplete passes.
Vanderbilt deciding to take a shot on 1st down. On 2nd down, I thought the Hilltoppers secondary did a really good job of covering everywhere up. There was nowhere for Shermer to go with the football. Now it's their 4th 3rd down where they have double-digit yardage to gain. Here on 3rd down, they've been able to convert a couple of 3rd and 11s, a 3rd and 12, but now 3rd and 10. More pressure on the passing game here, Mike.
A flag at the snap as the Hilltoppers bring 4. A back foot throw connects with Sherfield, and he gets 4, not nearly enough for the 1st down, with a flag down at the 31-yard line of Vanderbilt.
Offside on the defense, number 22. 5-yard penalty, replay, 3rd down.
That's a backbreaker for the Hilltoppers. You feel like you're going to get the football back, and now you're going to give another opportunity to the Vanderbilt offense on 3rd in a much better situation.
And getting 3rd and outs has been a strength of this defense. They force almost 5 3 and outs a game, 37% of opposing teams' drives, 20th best mark in the country there. They've got to defend again, this time 3rd and 5. We got another flag.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 80. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
The tight end, Jared Pinkney, is penalized for Vanderbilt. 5 paces forward, 5 back, right where we started at 3rd and 10.
We'll see what Vanderbilt, who they want to go to here. Do they want to get the tight end involved? Do they want to go to Sherfield or Lipscomb? They're the playmakers on the outside.
3rd try on this 3rd down, and Shermer is wrapped up at the ankles. Derek Overstreet punches his way into the backfield for the sack.
And only the 7th sack for this Western Kentucky defense, but a good individual effort just beating Sage Young, one of those replacement offensive guards for Vanderbilt in this offense. Overstreet just takes that dip and goes upfield with the speed to get the sack.
And Overstreet looking on as his teammate Demetrius Kane is down on the field in pain. The redshirt freshman from Princeton, Kentucky, getting his left leg looked at. He's already been an impact player today in the first quarter, leaping up to deflect a third down pass from Kyle Shermer.
This might have been an injury with traffic in the pocket. May have been a recipient of a leg whip, and you hope that Demetrius Kane for the Hilltoppers can come back in this game.
Back in Nashville, Vanderbilt by a touchdown over Western Kentucky. A quarterback sack went from elation to disappointment for the Hilltoppers after Demetrius Kane, 28 in white, got injured.
Well, unfortunately, Derek Overstreet and the momentum going after the quarterback just brought him into the lower leg of Demetrius Kane, and that's where the injury occurred. It was almost a leg whip type of effect on Kane in that knee injury, and no one feels worse than head coach Mike Sanford and defensive end Derek Overstreet.
Now, Overstreet stayed out there on a knee and then helped Kane walk off the field. Had his arms around his shoulders. This kick soars all the way back, and the ball comes loose. And then Fant falls on top of it back at the 18-yard line. Little scary play right there. Well, Conference USA, the home of Western Kentucky, UAB is back. Bill Clark just signed a 5-year contract for them. Some big-time head coaches. Lane Kiffin has FAU bowl eligible for the first time since 2013. And Devin Singletary win against Marshall yesterday, 275 all-purpose yards.
He's been going absolutely crazy in Conference USA, running the football for Lane Kiffin and the FAU Owls.
And UAB, speaking of which, not only having their football program reestablished, they play Rice for bowl eligibility today.
That's incredible. That's a great story.
Hilltoppers looking for the same, a 5-win team, 3-2 in their league, and they can spread it out to a handful of wide receivers. Xavier Lane makes the catch here to get this drive rolling.
Here comes a little bit more tempo from the Hilltoppers offensively, and that's just a good route, knowing the inside pressure where the linebacker was. He gets to the linebacker in zone, comes back out, and 15 yards later, they get rhythm early in this drive.
So Quentin Baker is out wide to the bottom of your screen. And Drew Eccles, the backup quarterback, takes the snap and gives it a go on the ground for a pickup of about 3. The redshirt junior from Daytona, Florida, playing in his 6th game of the year.
Mike, just another wrinkle. We saw a double pass already. We saw the Wildcat, different bodies in the football game. So you want to give Vanderbilt something else to think about on offense.
White looking just one way, and it was toward his own sideline. A hard throw bounces away. Good coverage from Trey Herndon all over Lane.
Good break on the football, but a pretty good throw and route. That one should have been completed. You mentioned a single receiver, just a speed out to the wide side of the field against zone coverage, and a good break on the football by Herndon.
So both teams here through almost a quarter and a half have battled quite a good number of 3rd and longs. This is 3rd and 6 here with Vanderbilt having faced 3rd and 10, 3rd and 13. One of the best 3rd down teams in the country. Myquan Dean, the tight end, eludes one tackle and stretches the ball right to the first down marker at the 44-yard line.
What a great effort on 3rd down. He might be about a football short of a first down, but Dean did all he could to elude the tackle, number 1, and then stretch out and get the football towards the first down marker. There's the hop over the safety, Ryan White, and he stretches that left arm out, maybe just shy of a first down. And for a team that doesn't run the football all that well, this is a tough decision for head coach Mike Sanford. He may want a measurement to buy himself some time on a play call if he decides to go for it here on 4th down. Here's the 2nd and 3rd effort from Dean. Stretching out the football.
Play is under further review.
It looked like it touches.
The ruling on the field is the ball carry did not go beyond the line of game.
It looked like the ball touched the 44-yard line. And if so, for me, it looks like that would be a 1st down.
Now, if they do have the 4th and short, a guy we might expect to see could be Marquez Trigg, the redshirt sophomore running back, who's 6 foot, 225 pounds, a 3rd down or short yardage guy, depending on where they need him. So Matt Leffler, the referee, gets on the horn with Doug Lineberger, the replay official, here at Vanderbilt Stadium to determine this one for the Hilltoppers.
Again, great effort by Dean, the tight end. See where the knee goes down there. Now, is the ball in the air when the knee goes down, or is it on the 44-yard line?
The ruling on the field stands. 4th down.
So no indisputable video evidence for the officials to the contrary. 4th and very short for Western Kentucky.
Head coach Mike Sanford right in the middle of this play call in that offensive huddle. The first thing you think about is snap count. Do you try to draw them off sides? Do you go under center? Do you stay in gun and try to influence with your snap count? And are you really going to gamble here with 9:56 and counting till halftime, only down 7 points?
They go under center, and Furby is the back. Going for the sneak, and they've got it with a strong push, led by White.
Initially, it looked like they were going to just go snap count, try to draw Vanderbilt off sides, and they get a good push for the middle of that offensive line for Mike White to get the 1st down.
First charge timeout, Vanderbilt.
With 9:35 left to go here before halftime. 4th down conversion brings up 1st down. Got the 40, 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 got the 40.
Afternoon, everybody. Chris Cotter, Jonathan Vilma, Chip Kelly here in our college football studios back in Bristol. Got some technical issues in Nashville. We'll send you back to Western Kentucky and Vanderbilt in a little bit when we get a chance. First of all, let's talk about Penn State and Michigan State going on right now in East Lansing. This is part of that Penn State gauntlet. 3 games and JV. Well, look okay here in the passing game, really. Trace McSorley becoming the all-time leading touchdown passer in Penn State history. Kind of a little bit of a surprise there when you think about some of the great quarterbacks they've had.
Yeah, very surprising. Really want to hear more about Saquon Barkley and what he's doing, you know, but Trace McSorley, they've taken away the run game. Trace McSorley has done a good job in the passing game. Now they're up by 1 touchdown against Michigan State.
Barkley has been dead silent in this game. 3 carries for 1 yard, and really they've done it through the passing game. Coach, Barkley has 1 yard on 3 carries. McSorley is 11 of 18 already in this game, and they're only in the early in the second quarter. 18 passing attempts. Penn State with Saquon Barkley in the backfield.
Well, I think both teams have the same game plan, because if you look at what Michigan State's doing, Lewerke's thrown for over 100 yards, and L.J. Scott has 12 yards. So I think both teams have said, hey, we're not going to let you run the football. We're going to pack the box, and we're going to see which quarterback can kind of win this duel. It's the game plan we saw that Northwestern did a couple of weeks ago that shut down Saquon for 8 carries for -1 yard in the first half. Is they'll find a way to take away him in the run game. Now it's, does Joe Moorhead in his creativity, which we've already seen, because Saquon has a pass.
Yeah.
You know, they switched him over to quarterback. He had a fake. It looked like he was going to run it and threw a pop pass to Gesicki. So I think you're going to see a lot of different things. Maybe you see him coming out of the backfield again. What I just hope is that Michigan State doesn't kick off to him.
I know, that's your rule number 1.
That's my only rule playing that.
Rule number 1. The 3 of us will see you at the half. Until then, though, let's send you back to Vanderbilt Stadium. Apparently, they've got their technical issues figured out. And now we get a game, guys.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We apologize for the technical issues. It's now 3rd down here for Western Kentucky, looking to convert again. And the pass goes to Dean, the tight end. He does not convert on 3rd down. Earlier in this drive, going for it on a 4th down and short. This yardage a little bit too much to overcome to go for it on 4th down again.
That's right. The gamble gets them about 6 or 7 yards, and they're going to punt the football back to Vanderbilt. So that's a good stand. Coming back from a 4th and inches. Hilltoppers get it, but the defense now from that point goes 3 and out.
You know what, though? You're down by 7, 8 minutes left here in the second quarter. 1-score game, but I really liked that 4th down and short call there to go for it, even though it wasn't exceptional field position.
Sets the tone a little bit as well.
It tells your players we're in
this
to win.
game. That's right.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I like the way that they've approached this game. They feel like they have a chance to win, and they've been playing that way early.
So Kyle Shermer will try and extend the advantage here. A guy who lived in a lot of places over the course of his life. His dad, a football coach, now the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. Went to LaSalle College High School just north of Philadelphia after starting his high school career in the suburbs of Cleveland when his dad was the head coach of the Browns. And now as a junior, 18 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions coming into this game, now up to 19 with the touchdown pass earlier in the game. And it's been remarkable what he's done this year. Nice second effort from Ralph Webb. But what Shermer has been able to do has been able to keep Vanderbilt in games. Even though the wins haven't been there, they've lost 5 straight since that win over Kansas State in that huge night game sellout here. But he has kept them afloat even when the defense has not played its part.
Well, he's gaining experience, and he's really improved as a quarterback each and every game. Maybe it doesn't result in points. It might not result in wins. But the games that you're supposed to win, the games that you feel like you've got a competitive edge or even, these guys are winning those football games, and that's what they need to continue to do in the month of November.
Ralph Webb looking quite fresh after that rib injury. So last week matched a career high with 4 touchdown passes, 333 yards. What do you think the future might hold for him?
I think it's bright. He can deal from the pocket. He's got a wealth of quarterback and football knowledge. He comes from he's a son of a coach. So all the intangibles that you look for in a quarterback, Kyle possesses those, and he's doing it at a high level consistently.
Rolling out with Webb in front, and the ball thrown on the move off the hands of Caleb Scott, who was down to his knees to try and bring it in.
Well, Darden makes a great play getting underneath that pass and just getting a hand on the football. Kyle would have liked to put just a touch more air on that as he was running to his right for the completion, but that's an athletic play by the nickelback, Darden.
Guy who's drawn a lot of praise this year, not only making plays in the secondary, but also leading the team with 5 tackles for a loss. Second and 10, back to the ground. And Dallas Rivers, the fullback. No Kari Blasingame this week either. Second leading rusher on the team. He's out with turf toe. So it's Webb and Rivers to get the majority of the carries today. That's the plan, at least, before this game got underway. And so far, it's played out that way. Now 3rd down, 7 to go.
Important for Vanderbilt here to stay on the field. Try to find a way to convert here on 3rd and medium, 3rd and 7. Protection paramount. That's number 1 here on 3rd down.
Big pressure. Sherfield crossing and shaking off his defenders as well. Nice job by Sherfield to get the yardage after the catch. Total of 15 on the play and a 1st down.
We talked about football awareness from quarterback and the extension to wide receiver a couple of minutes ago. This is the awareness of just sliding to his right, buying some time, making an accurate throw down the field, and then getting north and south by Sherfield. That was the important move. Once he caught the football, where's the 1st down markers? Let's get it and then try to make a big play from there. But good quarterback awareness by Shermer.
Rivers on first down, a gain of 2.
Four targets for Sherfield, 4 receptions for 64 yards. This is a guy that we fell in love with his size in week 3 when we had him against Kansas State. And he's continued to impress with the numbers since then.
Western Kentucky showing a 1 safety look, selling out to try and stop Webb, and that's exactly what they do. Joel Iyebuniwe, they just call him Iggy, and that's a lot easier to pronounce. His play is simple and to the point as he stops Webb.
Good penetration at the point of attack. Saw the ball carrier, and that's what you have to do as a linebacker. You know, mostly it's simplified, but see ball, get ball. You have to be able to find a way to track ball carriers, especially at the line of scrimmage and behind sometimes.
How can the Tops get the 3rd down stop they need? They get huge pressure. The screen pass goes awry from Shermer, and the Hilltoppers deliver a blow and get a stop.
I know on 3rd down you're calling a screen and offensive linemen are allowing those guys to get penetration, but you got to hold them up for at least a count. That's just a free run by Lewis, and Wiggins actually. He's able to get the pressure in the pocket. You have to be able to at least protect for a count or 2 on screens. That's on the offensive line not doing their job.
Bouncing out to the 18-yard line on the punt. 3:42 to play. Big drive for the Tops. Try and tie things up before the break.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Crest, healthy, beautiful smiles for life. And Esurance, auto and home insurance for the modern world.
The home of country music, Nashville, Tennessee, and also on Broadway. Every bachelorette party you didn't want to cross paths with on a Saturday night. Why are these bars so crowded?
That is for sure.
14-7 with Western Kentucky looking to get something going here on what may be its last drive of the first half. They start on the ground with field position going from the 18-yard line. In their last 2 drives, they've started on their own 15 and their own 19 and have had to punt both times.
Well, it hasn't been great field position, but with 3:25 and counting, you'd love to get points before halftime and continue to spread the football around. 6 different rushers, 6 different receivers touching it for the Hilltoppers.
Fant the intended target there on 2nd down. But they've got all 3 timeouts, so if they can start to move the chains, a lot to work with. But it starts with this 3rd down play.
3rd down has been problematic in terms of the distance they have to gain to keep possession and move the chains.
Furby stays into block for White. With a collapsing pocket, delivers a beautiful ball down the sideline, and that's caught inside the 30 by Lucky Jackson. No luck involved on that play.
No doubt, best throw of the afternoon. And this hits him dead on stride, 43 yards. As you said, no luck involved. That was a perfect route. He stacked the DB, and then all he had to do was run and catch.
For the snap, false start, offense, number 1, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The receiver Fant called for the penalty, so they slow themselves down. This is the time both of these teams really, when they get a big gain, want to get right back to the line of scrimmage, whether it's what they call their speed or their NASCAR package, to be able to get right back into it and continue their forward progress. Fant leaps for the catch, picks up a block, and goes outside. Great elusiveness to tiptoe his way to the 26-yard line.
The Fant took a loss, a potential loss, and turned it into a great gain. It might only be 5 or 6 yards on the gain, but this could have been potentially 2 negative plays in a row with the penalty and then a loss here. Great individual effort outside the numbers.
On the move, going upstairs for Fant. John, what'd you see there as far as where that ball got released from?
Well, first of all, it was great play action in the backfield, but you've got to be able to convert there. You're sitting outside, as Mike White was, all by himself. The ball high and behind. You just want to be able, it looked like it was close to the line of scrimmage where the ball was delivered, but I think it was a good play in terms of letting it go with no call.
3rd down and 9, a dart toward the sideline, hauled in by Mike Dean. The drive continues for WKU.
And without Deion Yelder, Dean has been the big force in this passing game. 19 yards, a short corner, short side of the field. That's just a good throw and an excellent route by the tight end.
Furby through the middle meets 4 defenders. Is stopped inside the 5-yard line as he powers his 225-pound frame into the defense.
And here comes tempo inside the 5.
A keeper, White, a collision, and he stands tall at the goal line and says, "Give me a touchdown."
What a drive by quarterback Mike White. Threw the long strike down the Hilltopper sideline, found his tight end on a short corner, and then gets it done on the ground, playing a little bit bigger than his 225-pound frame to get himself into the end zone.
.143 left in the second, and a nicely engineered drive by the former high school pitcher who had a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, and he showed off his fastball on this drive and also his toughness, standing up the defense. I got this. Tie game at 14 in Nashville. Tied at 14 here in Nashville. A beautiful Saturday and a great game to get things started. Former Philadelphia Eagle, Buffalo Bill, Jordan Matthews in the house as well. 2nd-round pick in 2014 here out of Vanderbilt for the 2-time first-team All-SEC pick.
He made Vanderbilt fans get excited in this stadium, and today they could use a guy like that on the outside, tied 14 all.
Alex Ranella gets good leg into it, 2 yards deep into the end zone. As Vanderbilt will look for good starting field position here inside 2 minutes left in the half. Jamari Wakefield out across the 15. Speaking of the NFL, you can start your Week 9 NFL Sunday with the Countdown Crew at 10 Eastern on ESPN. All the early breaking stories, injury updates, and a preview of each game. Also live on the ESPN app as the saga of Ezekiel Elliott continues, thanks to the 2nd U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. At least one more game for him this year.
That has been a continuing saga. And fortunately for the Cowboys, it's getting him on the field right now.
So $1:38 to go here as this drive starts for Vanderbilt. And the irony of that is, had he just taken the initial suspension, it would be done already. Timeout for Western Kentucky. They've got 3 to burn here, and they're going to try and get the ball back if they can before halftime. Starting the 3rd quarter, they're also going to get the ball there too.
Good pressuring at the line of scrimmage by the Hilltoppers and taking advantage of that timeout.
Our blast from the past here today takes us back to the career of Jay Cutler. And very quickly, Kyle Shermer is closing in on his touchdown mark in a single season here. 19 today. Most for a Vandy quarterback since Cutler's 21 in his 2005 senior season.
Yeah, Jay Cutler taking on the Oakland Raiders at home on Sunday night.
How's he holding up health-wise?
He's holding up. He has a rib injury, so he's going to play. Sat out last week. Looks like he's going to play, and a guy that's playing today. Shermer doing an excellent job of moving this offense, not only today, but this entire season, protecting the football, finding the end zone, getting a lot of yards and big plays in this offense.
Webb got just 1 yard on first down, and Mike Sanford sprinting out onto the field to call timeout number 2 after a short pickup on that play. Well, 3:30 Eastern today on ESPN. It's a good one in the Big Ten as J.T. Barrett and the Ohio State Buckeyes take on Iowa at Kinnick Stadium. It's been a little bit lopsided as of late for the Hawkeyes, which have lost 5 straight against OSU. They're running into a bit of a buzzsaw right now with a team on a 6-game winning streak and a quarterback who's completed 75% of his passes over those last 6 games.
Well, he was sensational last week in the come-from-behind win at home against Penn State. 4 touchdowns, completed his last 16 passes. He was on target, on time, and clutch, and 22 touchdowns since the September 9th loss to the Sooners at home. So this is a guy that should be in the running for the Heisman Trophy.
Vandy's got to find a first down here. Western still got 1 more timeout and 1:25 left if they can get the ball back. The Hilltoppers bring 4. Shermer unloads, and a throw in between 3 defenders complete to Kalijah Lipscomb gets the first down they needed.
Boy, really good job by Lipscomb on the outside. That's just a sticks route. He's going to run past the sticks, turn his numbers to the quarterback, and the timing beat coverage on 3rd down.
Shermer with a zip line throw to the 45-yard line. Pegs it to Sam Dobbs, another first down.
2 big pass plays that beat coverage with timing. Back foot into the ground, ball out on time and on target. And it looks like a Hilltopper down on the play.
It's the safety Devin Key who doesn't get up after that completion for Dobbs. Coming up at the half, Chris Cotter in the studio with Coach Chip Kelly and Jonathan Vilma, giving you a look around the Saturday action in the Big Ten. Can Penn State have a bounce back, and will Wisconsin hold serve? That and more coming up at the break.
Well, I'm sure Jonathan, all he's concerned about is that Virginia Tech game tonight.
Virginia Tech and Miami, 14 wins, 1 loss combined between those 2 squads.
He's played in a lot of those games when they were members of the Big East Conference.
You know what we've seen today, John? This is the 2nd player sustaining a prolonged injury down on the field for Western Kentucky, and both times I think a great display of team unity, where the first time it was Derek Overstreet who stayed out there to help Demetrius Kane off the field, and now you've got several members of the team rallying around the injured Devin Key.
When we talked to defensive coordinator Clayton White yesterday, he said that's one of the things he's trying to preach, these guys playing together, rallying to the football, getting a lot of people involved, and you can tell that they care for one another on that sideline.
Clayton White, the former New York Giant, Tampa Bay Buck, who saw Vanderbilt a year ago in the Independence Bowl in Shreveport as a member of the staff at NC State. So familiar with personnel. Nice tackle by Iye Buniwe on the throw from Shermer.
Second charge timeout, Vandy. That's a 30-second timeout.
So 1 timeout left here for Vanderbilt, but you have to think the field goal situation has not been good this year, and that might be generous to say that. They're 1 for 5 with Tommy Openshaw kicking field goals this year, so it's almost touchdown or bust.
Well, that's your thought process with under a minute left to go in this first half. You want to be able, if you're head coach Derek Mason, take your shot down the field and try to get 7 points. Try to get a touchdown here before halftime, or at least if you're going to attempt a field goal, not make it of the 40-plus variety or the 30-plus variety. Make it inside, a little bit closer to the red zone, so you give Openshaw another opportunity to be successful before halftime.
Openshaw 1 for 5. That's the third fewest field goal attempts by any team in FBS this year. Tulane has attempted 2, a perfect 2 for 2, and UTEP has attempted 4 this year. Nevertheless, though, Derek Mason says his confidence still remains high in Openshaw because he says, look, if I'm not confident in the guy, who's he going to turn to?
Who else is going to be? That's right.
I've got to have confidence in him. He's my kicker.
He's got to continue to give Tommy those opportunities. Let him prove that he can do the job.
Second down and 5, just across the 50-yard line into Hilltopper territory with 52 seconds left before halftime. Shermer to throw. He steps up and connects with Sherfield.
And I think the penalty is one of the Hilltoppers' defensive linemen may have lined up in the neutral zone. So I think Vanderbilt's going to take this play and get it inside the 35-yard line.
Offside on the defense, number 42. That penalty is declined. First down.
Derek Overstreet, the defensive end, flagged for the penalty. So they get 17 yards on the play. Looking to get toward the end zone, taking a shot here, and the pass is tipped away. Defended well by DeAndre Ferris.
Really good coverage down the field by Ferris, and I think that's the first pass that Shermer's thrown that hasn't been on target. This is inside, and it gives Ferris an opportunity to make a play on the ball. Give Lipscomb credit. He turned into the defender on that play.
Officials timeout for an injury.
And it's Lipscomb who comes up lame, the sophomore from New Orleans.
Tending to that left foot. Looks to be okay as he walks off.
He'll be off for at least this snap, a key member of a receiving corps that is not very deep.
Not very deep. That's where he turns. It looked like he turned his ankle when he was going back to defend on the underthrown pass.
Second and 10, 2 safeties deep over the top. The throw splits the defenders in the middle. It's caught and it's into the end zone for Vanderbilt. Trey Ellis with the touchdown.
Mike, it just looks like the football caroms off of one of the defenders right into the lap of Trey Ellis. The result is a 31-yard touchdown. That's a good play in the secondary. The Hilltopper defender thinks the pass is batted down. Kincaid gets up celebrating, but he doesn't know that it was kicked into the lap of Trey Ellis for a touchdown.
Well, a lot of life is being in the right place at the right time, and that's exactly where the senior Trey Ellis was for just his 3rd catch of the season and his 1st touchdown of the year. How about it?
And that's the touchdown Vanderbilt was desperately after before halftime. This is unbelievable. This ball is a bullet down the middle. And it looks like Kincaid's going to get the breakup. He actually celebrates when the ball's in the air, but it caroms off the knee or the foot of Pierce right into the lap of Trey Ellis. So you have the injury, this comes out, you get replacements in the game, and those guys come through. Kincaid actually bats this football down. It goes off of the wide receiver from Vanderbilt. Now he's going to get up and celebrate thinking this play is over and done with, but little does he know that Ellis is in the end zone. What do you think? Bring back memories of something that you saw before, or you may never even have seen that. I know you didn't see it live.
There is a sizable age gap between the two of us.
That's right. Thank you for the compliment, Mike. But I saw that, the immaculate reception. Franco Harris, how about that one? Is that bringing back memories?
Probably the most immaculate memory I have is perhaps confirmation.
Confirmation.
Not necessarily of a reception.
That's right. That was a heck of a game. Franco Harris gets the carom off of Jack Tatum.
And think about what this does now for Western Kentucky. They think they're riding high. They use their 2 timeouts, get Vanderbilt into a 3rd down there, and then the Commodores get on a roll. They start to use their timeouts, and a great read of the defense by Shermer to split the safeties and get a little luck involved, too.
Well, you have to sometimes, but the key was they didn't put their special teams unit in a situation where they're going to kick a field goal or attempt a field goal. You get a negative reaction going to halftime. The flip side of it, they're up 7, they get the football back, and they really feel like now they're in control of what happens in the second half.
So far, this game has gone according to script in the series as of late over the last 2 years between Vanderbilt and Western Kentucky. Last year, it was a Vandy victory, 31-30 in overtime on the Hilltop. 2015, Western Kentucky with a 14-12 win on this same turf. So the first half comes to a close with a 7-point gap between the team from the SEC and from Conference USA. Sensational play continues here for Kyle Shermer as the Commodores look to put a 5-game losing streak to bed on home field. 21-14 at the break. And more coming your way from the studio after these messages. Welcome back to ESPN College Football presented by Vizio. An exciting first half in the Music City between the host Vanderbilt Commodores and the visiting Western Kentucky Hilltoppers from just an hour away in the Bluegrass shape. Mike Cousins, John Congemi, glad you're with us and hope you'll stay till the end for what we hope is an exciting finish and a great first half. Western Kentucky down a score early. They pull out a trick to start.
It was a fun first half, and especially for the Hilltoppers on offense. They finally find Quentin Baker on the double pass to get on the scoreboard. Then Mike White plays the role of running back. He stands tall and gets into the end zone and get 14 points on the board for Western Kentucky.
And Kyle Shermer continues what has been a great season for him.
Scanning the field, finding one of his playmakers on the outside for an early touchdown in Trent Sherfield, and then the run breaking multiple tackles as Ralph Webb going in from 8 yards out. And then the play of the first half for Vanderbilt in this game. They're trying to get points before halftime. Goes off the leg of Chris Pierce. The Hilltoppers thought they had it defended, but Trey Ellis ends up with the touchdown and a 7-point lead going to halftime.
Tommy Openshaw ready to kick it away to get this second half rolling. The last 2 minutes of the second quarter were quite eventful. It was Vanderbilt on offense that ended with that tip pass touchdown. But Western Kentucky thought they almost had a stop, taking 2 timeouts, which actually ended up helping Vanderbilt to stop the clock, giving them more time. And now find themselves down by 7, but with a chance to answer. No return, so we'll go to this afternoon's Taco Bell game track. We said whoever played better at quarterback might win this one. Well, Kyle Shermer has thrown for 2 touchdowns. Lo and behold, Vanderbilt has the lead. But another headline is Ralph Webb with 71 yards, his second highest total of the year.
That's the sneaky stat of the first half. Whichever quarterback was going to get some support in the run game was going to have an advantage. And right now it's advantage Vanderbilt because of Ralph Webb. His touchdown, 4.7 yards every time he touches the football, and those hidden yards really help the offense.
So here's Mike White and Western Kentucky back to it, down by 7 to get the half started. Quentin Baker reverses field and ends up going in reverse, losing about a half yard, taken down by Ryan White.
Burks, the linebacker, along with White on a big stop there. First play of the third quarter for Vanderbilt on defense. And this is a defense that wants to wreak havoc, really limit the rushing attack of the Hilltoppers and put more pressure on Mike White.
White, the former South Florida Bull, to the numbers. Myquan Dean, the tight end, continues his big day with Dion Yelder out today with an ankle injury. The former walk-on tight end Yelder sidelined, so Dean stepping up in his place.
Dean's been impressive. He can catch the football like a wide receiver, tries to make some moves up the field and get some of that yak yardage, but have to convert here on third down, stay on the field, get some momentum built up on that offense in this third quarter.
White finds his short throw. Nicarius Fant, the Bowling Green native, attending school in his hometown, out of bounds. And he's got a first down. We got to go up to Bowling Green yesterday. It's not often you have two teams that square off an hour away from one another. Nice stadium and very nice football facility there. Dean going over the middle, and he picks up the first down from White.
I think Mike White's finding some comfort in Dean as a tight end, as a big receiving tight end. 14 yards there to get the ball to midfield.
Offensive line has done a nice job on this drive, giving him adequate time, ample protection. Xavier Lane with the catch at the 43-yard line from White, who sat out in 2015 behind Brandon Doughty. Last year threw for over 4,300 yards, 37 touchdowns. Not the same numbers this year, but still just one win away from bowl eligibility for the Hilltoppers. Furby's run, another first down.
South Florida's been a very good pipeline for Western Kentucky quarterbacks. You mentioned a couple of them, Brandon Doughty, and now today watching Mike White, both accurate with throwers of the football, moving the offense, and like what I see out of White.
How about that? He changes his arm angle to make a difficult throw look quite easy, and about a 10-yard pickup.
That looked like changing direction on a shortstop to second base double play. That was perfect. Just throwing it around traffic. Sometimes you have to do that as a quarterback, change your arm angle, and that one goes for 11.
Nobody trying to slide into his legs to take him out. Furby carrying defenders. It's a bit of a home game for Furby as well. His hometown of Smyrna, Tennessee, just 24 miles away from here in Nashville.
And this is an impressive drive by Western Kentucky on offense. They have rhythm, they have tempo, and they have execution going.
White short drop, looks to the sideline, now looks toward the goal line, and his pass overthrown.
Perfectly defended by Trey Herndon. He was waiting for the wide receiver to come out of that out route and turn it up. Ran the route for the wide receivers. That's excellent film study and anticipation by Herndon.
Third down and 3 on what's been a big day for the tight end Dean.
I would look for him again, Mike, here.
A small army of wide receivers. White on the crossing route to Fant. First down, WKU. Fifth first down of the drive for the Hilltoppers. They keep it moving. Ball at the 17.
They need to finish on this drive, Mike. They don't want to settle for a field goal.
Furby tumbles toward the right side. A couple of young guys over there. Tyler Witt getting the start at right guard today. And number 70, Cole Spencer, the true freshman, his first career action today at right tackle.
They take the red shirt off of the true freshman on the right side. One of their better players up front.
White unleashes on a line. Extra effort and a power move by Jernigan to finish that play.
Looks like he might be just short of a first down for head coach Mike Sanford. Good effort on the outside by Jernigan.
Just short. Here's play number 13 of the drive. So fourth down. Now what do you do?
Big decision. It looks like they're going to go for it here on fourth down. They've got their bigger back in the game in Furby. Still out of shotgun.
Nephi Lelau, the big nose tackle in there for Vanderbilt. Testing it right through the middle. And a flag down as well.
Offside on the defense. After this to the goal, results in a first down.
After a week with 10 penalties in the loss against South Carolina, this one comes at a very poor time for Vanderbilt.
Finding easy yards at the end of this drive. Now the ball inside the 5-yard line. That big offensive line. We mentioned Cole Spencer, the right tackle, starting in his first game.
And Drew Eccles is in at quarterback for the second time today. First time he was in, it was a drawn-up run for him. The second time is a run as well, and he is quickly corralled, trying to turn the corner. His legs taken out from under him by Ladarius Wiley.
Well, the timing up front in that Wildcat play, the direct snap, was off. One of the offensive linemen gets pushed back in the lap of where Eccles wanted to run the football. He delayed, and Vanderbilt, that front seven, did not.
Now Furby is back with White on second down. Pass all the way to the back corner of the end zone. Too tall from White for Fant. He's not a big guy, 5'9". That's got to be a perfectly placed ball if he's going to get it.
Yeah, that's going to need a little bit more air to find Fant in the deep corner of the end zone. The target down here is Dean, the tight end. He's had a bunch of catches, productive catches in this drive and in this game. 15 plays, 68 yards. They'd love to have the 16th go for 6.
We've got a flag down.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 12 men in the formation. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
So both teams finding themselves flagged with the ball inside the red zone. And this backs up the Hilltoppers with third down.
For Mike White, you have to take the mentality, okay, you get a bad penalty with an illegal substitution, but your mindset has to be, it gives me a little bit more room to operate here. I want to be able to get my players in position to create space in tight windows down here in the red zone.
White looking end zone. His pass is tipped and incomplete.
Boy, it sure looked like Jordan Griffin got there a little bit early, and I think head coach Mike Sanford might be thinking the same thing. it looked like Griffin was over the back of the Hilltoppers receiver just before, about a count before the ball gets there. Yeah, there's contact on the back of Jernigan, and I think Mike Sanford agrees with that.
I think he's got every right to be calling for pass interference there. 9:24 left here in the third. A 29-yard try for Ryan Nuss. So they don't end up in the end zone, but they do get a score on the drive. Vanderbilt still leads by 4, but Sanford simmering on the sideline. Here in the Music City, Mike Cousins and John Congemi. What was a gloomy Saturday morning has turned into a sunny, picturesque Saturday afternoon.
It is beautiful here in Nashville.
If you came with a raincoat, forget it. Forget it.
Have to sell that thing at the airport.
Shorts weather today for certain. 9:20 left. 17-play drive for Western Kentucky is the longest scoring drive all year for them that ended in a field goal. All of their drives, 13 plays or longer this year, with the exception of that one, have ended in touchdowns. And if that pass interference penalty had been called, as Mike Sanford wanted it to, may well have had a touchdown. Instead, we've got ourselves a 21-17 score, which gives us time right now to take a look at our All-State, all-hands-in play for this afternoon's game.
This one was pretty easy. End of the first half, you get a pass down deep in the Hilltoppers territory. It goes off of Chris Pierce, the wide receiver, first. It looked like it was well defended on the play initially by Kincaid, into the lap of Trey Ellis for the Vanderbilt touchdown.
The great combination of Shermer and Webb. Ralph Webb in the first half, 71 yards. So just through 30 minutes, already his second highest rushing total of the year. His numbers won't equal what he did a year ago. He's the all-time leading rusher at Vanderbilt, top 15 in SEC history. Last year went for almost 1,300 yards and 13 touchdowns. Passing up today, Leonard Fournette and Cadillac Williams going from 14th to 11th all-time in the SEC. Best game of the year for him.
Was that the Ole Miss, you said?
Ole Miss, 23 carries and 163 yards. And he's back to at least playable health this week after getting only 6 carries last week due to an injured rib against South Carolina.
Some yards have been tougher than others. That one on that play looked like his legs got buckled underneath him. And he'll have to take a play or two off. That'll bring Dallas Rivers into the game. But it's nice to see him having success today.
Third down and 2 at the fullback Rivers, and the pistol formation with Shermer. All run all the way. Rivers trying to get the extra push and just hang on to the football as he comes up short of the first down marker. Linebacker Masai White first in there to get a helmet on him. There
were 4 white jerseys for Western Kentucky in on Dallas Rivers. This is a great defensive effort. The last is safety coming out of nowhere. Just 4 guys in on the hit on Dallas Rivers to keep him short of the yard to gain.
This time the Vanderbilt Gunners make sure they stay out of the way of the football after a kick-catch penalty earlier in the day. 46 yards in the punt for Loy in a 4-point contest.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Angry Orchard Hard Cider, naturally refreshing, and Old Spice.
Big Red tours Nashville. How about a shout out for Zach McKay from Western Kentucky's Athletics Marketing Department, getting that footage.
What a great job. by both.
How about it? The newest, perhaps, hit on the country scene, Big Red.
Big Red. Another guy in red and black and silver doing a pretty good job, and that's quarterback Mike White.
Well, he's got the unexpected snap, and the play goes off, albeit with a bit of a hitch. As Furby goes backwards, a loss of 1.
Those are the plays that can really surprise you as a quarterback, and thankfully it hits you somewhere where you can catch the football and it doesn't turn into a turnover.
How many times do you see that type of a snap and it ends up as a fumble?
That's right.
So 2nd and 11, timing better synchronized on this snap for Western Kentucky. Fant dropped down after the catch by Torian Ferguson, the cornerback.
Derek Mason, the head coach of Vanderbilt, said we need to tackle in space very well today because of the talent that's around quarterback Mike White. Ferguson came up and made a nice play in space and have to do it again for his head coach here on 3rd down.
Tight coverage on the outside. White with a pump fake, and he goes down back at the 18-yard line. Not enough time to get it away. It's Charles Wright with his 2nd sack of the afternoon for the outside linebacker.
Wright did a good job of getting inside of true freshman tackle Cole Spencer, but it was the pump fake. It was the coverage that made White hold the football that count or 2 longer, and that allowed Wright to get on the inside of Cole Spencer. Spencer's at the tackle position. White pump fakes, and that allows the extra time for Wright to get his 2nd sack of the afternoon.
Team leading 8th of the year, and both of those Vandy sacks coming on 3rd and long. You got a sense there going into that drive for Western Kentucky. That might have been a big opportunity.
That might have hit
touch
a
Vanderbilt player.
Yeah.
You thought they might take some momentum on the last drive, and maybe it comes on a 4th down punt, and it's Western Kentucky football.
It looked like it hit Frank Coppett in the left ankle or the left foot. Coppett's going to be running by harmlessly to the outside. Number 35. He's blocking downfield. He has to be aware of where the football is. Everybody yelling. It looks like it hits him right on the back of the left foot. And that should be the turnover that in the field position that Western Kentucky's looking for.
So it turns out to be about a 30-yard gain after all is said and done after the botched special teams play. Vandy on the hunt for another sack and flushing White out of the pocket. The secondary holds up well once again.
Good pressure in the pocket once again. Griffin, one of the guys there from that linebacker spot. Good coverage. I think White made a good decision here. He wanted to try to push the football, but good coverage to the short side of the field, and Griffin's able to get in for the big play on 1st down.
So a team that struggles to run the ball curiously on 2nd and long goes for the run and doesn't really pay off.
That's a good observation. You would think screen or get it back to your tight end and try to get 8 to 10 yards and make it more manageable on 3rd down.
They come into this game with the fewest rushing yards per game of any team at the FBS level. They need 13 yards for a 1st down. The throw initially doesn't get it, and the run after the play is not enough either. Fant trying to make his way to the sticks. So 4th down and close, and they have shown they're not afraid to go for it when it's 4th and short.
I think the offense is going to stay on the field. I think they're going to go for it here on 4th and about 2. That's one thing that head coach Mike Sanford came in with that mentality today. He's going to keep his offense on the field.
Vanderbilt with just one safety back. The throw is caught by Fant. White converts on the 4th down play. courage for Western Kentucky, and it's been contagious on offense.
Moving the pocket away from pressure. Vanderbilt's been pressuring the pocket, so he slides the offensive line to the wide side of the field. A nice little rub route to the outside, and springs Fant wide open. Coach is loving it.
Small, quick, and elusive. And White extends the throw too far for the reach of Quinn Jernigan. 2nd and 10 coming up.
On the other side, though, Mike, Vanderbilt, they didn't allow the touchdown on that last long drive. They have to try to find a way to do that again here on this drive, force a field goal opportunity.
Up against the 4-man rush. Another sidearm throw. Ends up at the 35-yard line with Jernigan targeted for the 2nd straight play. Western Kentucky, the underdog in this game for sure, has not shown any signs of being intimidated despite being undersized and outmanned.
They're not backing down, and they're getting a lot of plate appearances. They've been going for it on 4th down, and I think that's just the mentality you have to come into this game. On the road against an SEC opponent. Shoot everything you have in the offense.
White turns, buys himself extra time. Flag in the backfield. He completes the pass to Jackson, who turns it up and goes between the hash marks down to the 23-yard line, but it could be holding to negate the gain for Western Kentucky.
Holding. Offense, number 75. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Jimmy Sims, the redshirt senior left tackle out of New Orleans.
Sims will be on the left side of your screen at the tackle position. White trying to extend the play, so he's going to stay in the pocket. That spin move right there gets the right arm on the shoulder of Josh Smith, the linebacker coming in from the outside, and that's going to get the call every time.
See if they've got the gunpowder for an explosive play on 3rd and 17. White directs and unloads. Jackson again brought down at the 35-yard line. They need to get to the 28. 4th down, still rolling.
And that offense isn't going anywhere. You got to believe they were trying to get half of that yardage back on 3rd down. The guy we haven't called lately has been Dean, the tight end. He's in the slot, top of the screen for the Hilltoppers.
Vandy rushes 4. White has all the time he needs. His throw incomplete. For the first time today, the Hilltoppers do not convert on 4th down. Vanderbilt takes over. 1:32 left in the 3rd quarter. And a 4-point advantage as the Commodores defense stays strong, looking to put a 5-game losing streak to bed. About an hour away from kickoff on ESPN into the Big Ten, Ohio State meets Iowa, which has lost 5 straight in this series. Don't bet against Urban Meyer in the month of November. He is 19-1 as the head coach of the Buckeyes.
And why would you, with JT Barrett in a defense that's 12th in total defense, 10th against the run? Iowa just needs to get it into the 4th quarter and take their chances.
Shermer looking to let it fly on 1st down, and he does exactly that toward the sideline. His pass complete to Kalijah Lipscomb, who we saw earlier in the game limp off after a throw his way in the end zone. He had tweaked his left ankle, but he's back to full strength and gains 20 on the first play of the drive.
Well, that's just a beautiful pass by Kyle Schumer. He did such a nice job of putting velocity on the football when he needs to, taking a little bit off. That's what quarterbacks need to do. It's not always the fastball. You know, put a little air on it when you need to and put a little heat on it when you need to.
On the end around, here comes Sherfield with some running room. Blocker out in front, nearly tripped up. He stays alive. He goes all the way. 45 yards.
Sherfield did a nice job of just following his blocking. Marcus out in front of him with a number of teammates out there providing that running room, and then the balance to tightrope the sideline into the end zone. He's done it through the air, catching the football, this time on the ground for 6.
The running plays that have been the non-conventional ones today,
pretty good,
have been pretty nice for Vanderbilt. Whether it's a tight end or the wide receiver, Trent Sherfield. When in doubt, spread it out. Vandy's up 28-17.
Chris Cotter in studio with an update from College Station. Looked like Auburn was pulling away from Texas A&M, but then Nick Starkle finds Damian Ratley. Takes it to the house from 62 yards out. Still a game, although it's a 35-20 lead for Auburn over on ESPN.
All right, Chris, we've got a 28-17 Vanderbilt lead here against Western Kentucky. Mike Cousins and John Congemi on a day that feels probably a little bit more like May than November.
I'll take it.
But we'll certainly take it. So will Trent Sherfield, because he just scored on a 45-yard touchdown scamper to deal a blow to the hopes for victory for Western Kentucky. Short kick to the 11-yard line. Not much on the return for Deontay Ruffin, the running back. So Vanderbilt trying to snap a 5-game losing streak here today. Meanwhile, around the rest of the SEC, a lot going on where you've got Georgia #1, Alabama #2. Georgia ranked for the first time since 2014 in the college football playoff poll. A very successful league, at least one new coach coming in after this season. And how about Drew Lock, Missouri, handing it to Florida today? We go from Locktober into November, where he had 18 touchdowns last month to just 2 interceptions and added 2 more today for a total of 30.
He's fun to watch, and that's an offense that's explosive, and they're facing one that can't put points on the board in the Florida Gators.
Mike White and the Hilltoppers have to find a way to be explosive here, playing kickball rather than football on first down. Looking for Jakari Moses.
It's not that the Hilltoppers haven't been able to move the football. They've done it. They've had a beautiful drive to start the third quarter. It resulted in points and a field goal, but now with the big play, the explosive play on offense for Vanderbilt, Mike White needs to find a way to answer here with just around 40 seconds left to go before the fourth quarter.
White trying to escape. Down he goes.
Odangbo, it looked like, was the guy getting the sack for Vanderbilt. Does a nice job coming from the field. He's going against the freshman tackle, pulled the red shirt off him, wins to the inside, and then finds Mike White. I believe that's the 4th sack for Vandy on the afternoon.
Half of those for the linebacker, Charles Wright. Western Kentucky has lost but 3 times this year. Illinois in week 2, Louisiana Tech in week 3, and last week a fourth quarter collapse against FAU. Will their fate turn this week in the fourth quarter? 11 points, the separation. Couple of teams separated by just 65 highway miles and 2 scores as we have 15 minutes left at Vanderbilt Stadium with John Congemi, Mike Cousins, and we go to the fourth. Western Kentucky trying to get A little bit closer here. 3rd and 15. White unleashes deep down the sideline, incomplete. That was going to be a near impossible catch to make.
And Lane took a shot at the end of that play. Looked like Ryan White came from the safety spot. Good coverage on the boundary by the corner Williams. Excuse me, that was Wiley that came over from the safety spot. But Lane appeared to step out of bounds well before.
So the injury timeout still pausing things over on the Western Kentucky sideline with the teams ready for a punt. And we'll take a quick break. Western Kentucky trailing and getting set to punt from its own end zone. Jake Collins, a redshirt junior, ready to go. And Kalijah Lipscomb to return right near midfield for Vanderbilt. Collins with a clean kick and a good one. Takes a tumble down inside the 40-yard line. Later today on ABC, number 4 Clemson takes on number 20 NC State. That's at 3:30 Eastern. Then 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It's Miami and Virginia Tech. Both games with major implications, not only in the league, but also for the college football playoff. You can see both of those games live on the ESPN app. For as good as Miami has been this year, the asterisk to their record is that their last 4 wins have come by 1 score each.
Yeah, they've won the last 4 games by a total of 18 points.
Here goes Vandy. Ralph Webb turning it upfield. Gets about 10 on that first down run, which gives Webb 89 yards on the day. So his second best rushing day of the season continues. Good to see him being back in a functional part of this offense after a rib injury held him last week in that loss against South Carolina. Splitting some time today with Dallas Rivers and providing a nice complement for offensive coordinator Andy Ludwig to bounce back and forth between him and Kyle Shurmur.
Well, it gives options for the Vanderbilt offense. You don't have to rely solely on the right arm of Shurmur.
Webb gets a nice wide open hole through the middle for a first down. But Shurmur, though, I think he's impressed you today, hasn't
Well,
he?
he has. 10 yards per attempt, and it hasn't been skewed by the explosive plays down the field, 1 or 2 or 3 plays. In fact, 10 of the completions are between 10 and 30 yards. So the guy's been efficient throwing the football. He's been accurate. He's been on time and helped by the running game of Ralph Webb.
2 touchdown passes today for Shurmur. So now at 20 for the year. So he's going to close in and likely surpass the single season record of 22 set by Whit Taylor back in 1982. Still with 3 games left to go in the regular season after this one. Surveying all his options, takes off and collapses forward to the 45-yard line.
Well, I think Kyle realized that this is no time to force the football. You've got a lead. You're up 28-17. You've went to your first, your second, your third, your 4th option on the play. Let's take that football down, tuck it away, get a couple of yards, and not make a bad play worse. Good decision by the junior quarterback.
Second down and 10. He splits the middle of the defense. Pass complete to Caleb Scott, the senior from Suwanee, Georgia.
Good hands by Scott. He was slowed by an off-season surgery early in the year, coming along now and makes a terrific catch for 18 yards. Another on-target pass by Shurmur. We talked about the injury. I just talked about Caleb coming off of an injury early in the season. That off-season surgery looked like he's hobbling on the sideline now.
They go back to Webb after the big pickup. He's brought down by Ben Holt, the Bowling Green, Kentucky native, in the backfield.
Imperative for Western Kentucky to force a field goal opportunity here. Down 28-17, you can't allow 6 points on the board. Have to be able to have your defense come up strong. They're on first down, create a tackle at the line of scrimmage. You have to get pressure in the Vanderbilt backfield on second and third down.
You're right, John. It's a vast gap at this point between 31-17 and a 14-point game, or perhaps more. Defense closing in quickly on Jamari Wakefield. He's not seen much action today. The redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville, Florida, getting on the field, spelling Webb.
How about Heath Wiggins, the defensive end for Western Kentucky, holds his ground, doesn't allow Wakefield to get leverage to the outside and waited for the corner support. So good defense outside in by the Hilltoppers. Now one more play. They need one more play out of this defense here on this drive.
Shermer with a 5-receiver look. Pressure comes up the middle. Now he may take off and try and get it with his legs, and he's tripped up short of the first down marker. It's between the hash marks and brings up a 4th down. And we talked about this earlier in the game.
You asked this question yesterday.
Their field goal kicking situation. Tommy Openshaw is 1 for 5 on field goal tries this year, and here he comes to try and extend the Vanderbilt lead.
And all head coach Derek Mason said to us was, I'm going to give Tommy the opportunity. I still have confidence in his ability, but he has to come through. He has to be able to make one of these kicks, and it might go the other way for the remainder of the season.
From 39 yards, the attempt for Openshaw is good. His second made field goal of the season, and a good time to do it. Vanderbilt up by 2 touchdowns inside of 10 minutes.
ESPN College Football is presented by Vizio, maker of award-winning 4K displays, and in part by Degree Deodorant. It won't let you down.
Western's mascot Big Red is making everyone jealous of its Instagram feed today, getting the best spots around Nashville.
There's got to be 2 or 3 Big Reds running around Nashville today. You'd be in all those spots.
Bridgestone Arena down to Broadway to the Country Music Hall of Fame. If you can do all that in one day in Nashville
and still catch a game,
right?
You're living
good.
That's right.
How good is Tommy Openshaw feeling right now?
Oh, man, he is on cloud 9.
He handles the kickoff out of the back of the end zone after making just his second field goal of the year. So how apropos that we have our friends at Allstate that are proud to be part of the team that comes together to do good by contributing to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kick. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. It was a 39-yard field goal for Openshaw, who had only made from 42 this year. Already got his degree in engineering science and economics. So, John, he's already got a big head start on us.
The anchor has been lifted. That's right.
Well, rushing yards have been hard to come by today for Western Kentucky. Lucky Jackson soaring through the air makes the catch.
And that's a good start for Mike White. Now they're going to go a little bit more tempo on offense, down 31-17 with under 10 minutes left to go in this game.
Yep, going to have to go to the air a lot more to try and make up that deficit. That now gives Western Kentucky, after that run, you want to guess the number?
I don't want to guess the number.
It's 3 total rushing yards today
Wow.
for the Hilltoppers, who came in averaging under 85 yards a game, last in college football. They find themselves down 2 touchdowns as we near the 9-minute mark of the 4th quarter. Macarius Fant with the crossing route catch. Well, one of the things that Mike Sanford talks about is their rushing efficiency. So 32% efficiency based on each down. What are you doing that helps us drive forward to our goal? First down, are you getting at least 4? Getting half the chains on second and then converting on 3rd down on rushing play.
And I think the one thing he'll be happy about is the conversion on 4th down, whether they ran or threw the football. They've done a nice job of coming on the road and gambling and saying, we're going to come out here, we're going down, we're going to call all the plays on this play sheet. We're going to go through it, and we're going to battle for 60 minutes, and this team has shown that so far.
They've been good gamblers. They've known not only when to hold them, but also when to fold them. Successful on 4th down today, 2 for 3. Wind starting to pick up here a little bit in Nashville. It's been an interesting weather day. It was gloomy and gray to start. A little rainy this morning. And now some thunder in the backfield as the Vanderbilt defense hits hard on Quentin Baker.
Ferguson and Williams were relentless there, not allowing to give up the perimeter. First it was Ferguson, and then Williams just destroys the runner at the end of that play. That was just a terrific job of getting leverage, staying outside, and making the runner come back to where all the help was on the inside.
They lose 7 on the play, so -4 rushing yards today for the Hilltoppers. White elusive. Nice pass to Mike Dean, a guy who he targeted the last time they went for it on 4th down, and he had a drop.
He had a chance. Dean had a chance to extend that last drive. He makes a good catch here to make it 3rd and short. And that's the rushing offense, or lack thereof, we've been talking about. Mike White just needs a little help in the rushing game. He hasn't gotten it today.
White with all day. Fant with speed, picks up a block around the corner. Ankle tackle cuts him down inside the 20-yard line. Trey Herndon makes the save, and a red zone opportunity coming up for WKU.
Good pass protection from Mike White. He scanned the field, trying to decide where he wants to go with the football. He finds the 5'9" Fant in the middle of it, gets a good block on the outside by Lucky Jackson and springs him inside the 20-yard line.
Hand off Furby, looking for a detour route. Everything was shut down. Jonathan Wynn stops his run.
Hard sledding on the ground for the Hilltoppers. They're going to have to get in the end zone through the air. They had the White rushing touchdown early in the game. They've done a nice job in the red zone converting and finding 6 points.
Vanderbilt player is injured, and it's Wynn, the redshirt senior defensive end, who made the tackle.
The College Football Playoff Top 25 Ranking Show. Tuesday at 7 on ESPN. Presented by Goodyear.
It's coming down to the wire in Nashville. Mike White and the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers. A win today gets them bowl eligible, but they are in a 14-point hole with 5:57 to go. And they've got a 2nd down and 13 coming up here. The end zone in their sights. Dean, the tight end, sets up left of the formation. 4 receiver options. The throw over the middle is tipped incomplete. Trey Herndon in on the play defensively. for Vanderbilt.
There's a couple times today that Trey Herndon has been the right man at the right time in the right position for Vanderbilt defensively. He's going to ride the back of Fant, gets the left hand on the football. Tight window down the middle for Mike White, and a good break on it by Herndon.
White on the roll, throws off balance. And his pass out of the back of the end zone with Jackson the closest guy.
And I think that offense is going to stay on the field with the score 31-17.
Just not enough time left to kick a field goal.
That's right. Took a shot at the end zone on 3rd down. White was flush, and I think that's why the ball wasn't accurate down the field. 4th and 13. They need to get inside the 10-yard line to the 7 to move the chains.
Biggest play of the day for Western Kentucky. And Vanderbilt holds again. "14-point lead. Vandy's got the ball, and they'll look to dwindle the clock toward win number 4. Western Kentucky just turned it over on down, so it's Vanderbilt's game here. 5:34 to go. The 3rd time that these two teams have played in the last 3 years. They have all been close games. 2nd time here in Nashville. Mike Cousins and John Kangemi on a day that has been downright delightful.
It is beautiful
to
right
watch
now.
football today. Tell you what, you know, one of the perks of having an early game is you usually get a flight home and find yourself on the couch by about 10 p.m. Eastern time. I don't think I want to get on the plane today.
I think you'll be walking the streets of Nashville today.
Maybe I'll see Big Red.
That's right.
Out and about. So we'll expect to see a heavy dose of Ralph Webb with his 2nd best rushing game of the season here today with inside 5.5 to go. Monday Night Football this week takes us to the NFC North. The Lions and Packers at Lambeau Field. Lions are in a bit of a spin right now. They've dropped 4 of 5 since opening up 2-0. The Packers at 4-3, just trying to find their identity with Brett Hundley at quarterback. Last week in that loss to the Saints, 12 for 25 through the air with a pick.
Well, they've lost their last 2 without Aaron Rodgers. Hundley's thrown a touchdown, but 4 interceptions.
Webb with a pulling guard in front of him. Brings up 3rd down and about 3. What's that like for a guy who's that young, 24 years old, to have to go in and try and replace arguably the best quarterback in the league?
Those are big shoes, and it's a tough job because every week is a different challenge when you haven't played in quite a long time.
You've got an injured Vanderbilt player at the end of the run for Webb that takes him over 100 yards today.
Is that the 2nd time this year?
2nd time this year. The 1st time came 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss when he went for 163 yards in that loss against the Rebels. So a successful year for him. Back-to-back games against Western Kentucky. He had 3 touchdowns against the Hilltoppers last year, and the most jarring number today that is going to be the problem to solve as the year goes on is -7 rushing yards for the Hilltoppers once they get back into conference play.
Yeah, you tack on all those hidden yards on the sacks as we see Marcus come off the field for Vanderbilt. But yeah, 22 rushes and 20 yards running the football. When you take away all those sack yards, that's not going to get it done for Mike Sanford in their offense.
Western Kentucky with a full complement of timeouts, trying to get Vanderbilt off the field. Webb off to the right side, very close to the 1st down. The nose of the football is basically right where the marker is. It's between the 30 and the 31-yard lines.
I think they're going to have to measure this to see. It's a football either way.
So now they're going to bring the chains out and get the official measurement. Fourth down. I don't know if you can get much closer than that.
It makes it interesting. You want to keep your offense out on the field. The linemen are saying to the sideline and head coach Derek Mason, keep us out here. We can get an inch.
But with the clock on their side, if Western Kentucky gets a stop.
They have timeouts. They have 3 timeouts remaining.
This could be quite perilous here for Vanderbilt if it doesn't go their way.
Regardless, you take this play clock all the way down, you may even want to call a timeout to discuss it. Looks like Derek Mason, the head coach of Vanderbilt, discussing with the linesman. And on the other side, you've got all 3 timeouts remaining. Here comes the timeout.
So Western Kentucky thinking about trying to get close in this one.
It's challenging.
Well, last year, it ended it with Ralph Webb going up top for the touchdown. Ball tip, overtime, 31-30. Vanderbilt wins. Three rushing scores for Webb in that game. Mike White, 222 yards through the air. Today, he's gone for 317, so upping his totals, of course, taking into account how difficult it's been to run the ball. So, John, I want to put you in Derek Mason's shoes here, and perhaps the vest as well. I know you look good in the vest.
I tried to.
If it is still a fourth down, do you go for it and potentially hand over short field position, or the risk reward, you hang on to the ball and perhaps salt this one away?
The way the kicking game has gone for Vanderbilt, I don't take the chance. I think I kick the football and play field position. Your defense has been playing really well, and ultimately we have to see the result of where the ball was spotted, but that's what I would do. I would kind of play the percentages. You never want to go in and give the football to Mike White and company from the 30-yard line with the score the way it is at 31-17. They have all 3 timeouts remaining. You're a couple bad plays away from giving them life.
The ruling on the field stands. 4th down. Vanderbilt will be charged their first timeout of the half.
Wow, I didn't know there were that many Vanderbilt fans here today. That's the loudest the home crowd has been all afternoon.
Well, it looked like
ruling that ruling
on that replay was well beyond the 30-yard line. We couldn't tell where his knee hit, and the officials seemed to think they were accurate on the spot. So now it's going to bring up 4th and short for the Commodores.
And it brings Sam Lloyd, a punter, on. You saw Mike Sanford yelling block and try and sell out. Perhaps come up with a game-changing play.
With this rugby-style kick, he's been able to really flip the field on special teams for the Commodores.
Well, still takes his time and gets away a beauty. Fan calls for the fair catch. If it will be a touchdown, it'll be an 80-yard drive here for the Hilltoppers. So it's still manageable, but a quick strike certainly makes things a lot easier if they can do it here.
Well, other than the first drive of the second half for Western Kentucky, you haven't seen Mike White and company really threaten. That first drive was a long drive. They ended up with field goal opportunity. They convert there, but Vanderbilt's really done a good job of keeping them off the scoreboard in the second half. 29-45, 317 for the senior out of Fort Lauderdale.
White against four-man pressure. Throws short of the sticks, but the extra effort from Jackson, who's been a big target today, the redshirt sophomore from Lexington, stops the clock on a first down catch.
And still plenty of time on the clock with 3 timeouts remaining. First things first, you need to find the end zone here with efficiency and quickness.
Now thrown well over the middle, and the ball is incomplete. Dean, they targeted him on 4th down earlier in the game, and another crucial play, one he can't hang on to.
Well, Dean has had some remarkable catches in this game, but the last 2 opportunities, one on 4th down and now this one on 1st down, you've got to find a way to come up with this catch. That's a huge chunk yardage play down the middle that the Hilltoppers leave on the ground.
They'd be in plus territory with fewer than 3 minutes to play. Instead, 2nd and 10 from their own 32-yard line. Going all out, Vanderbilt loops around on defense and breaks through. Odengvo has sack number 5 of the day for the Commodores defense.
Really nice game and twist up front by the Commodores front 4. He's going to line up at the tackle position on the left side. He spins around and totally turns around the center, Dennis Edwards. They don't pass him off. Right into the lap of Mike White.
Third down, it's a drop-off. Vanderbilt's defense staying hungry late into the 4th quarter. Nowhere to go.
It's really helped the Vanderbilt defense with Burks and Smith. Charles Wright back at the linebacker position. I have to credit that front 7. They've done a nice job of being active. Although Mike White has thrown for over 300 yards, they've been active and buzzing around the pocket.
So 4th and 21, game on the line here. Play clock is down to 5. White unleashes a throw past the sticks. It's incomplete. But there's a flag that comes in late at the end of the play, well after the ball had hit the ground. And the flag is down at midfield.
A lot of contact on the outside. Trey Herndon against Jackson.
Pass interference on the defense, 14. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
The safety, Ryan White, gets called for the penalty.
I think they confused the numbers on the field. I'm not sure White was even close to a Hilltopper receiver. I think it was Herndon.
And his reaction would explain that.
White is there coming off the hash, the safety. He makes the play on the football while the contact was made by Trey Herndon, the corner.
So after 4th and long, sustained life for Western Kentucky. Down by 14, 96 seconds to play in Nashville. White decked as he throws. Herndon on the coverage again. He was thinking 6 the other way.
Caleb Pert was thinking separating Mike White from the football. Another clean shot in the pocket given up by this offensive line of the Hilltoppers. You're going to take shots like that as a quarterback. That's a given. It's a credit to White that he bounces back up for 2nd down.
And remember, on that right side of the offensive line at guard and tackle, just 3 combined career starts. Were the feet in bounds on the sideline, the pass incomplete near midfield.
Pearson made an excellent attempt, but I'm not so sure he's able to get a toe down in front of the Hilltoppers bench. White's going to extend this play, moving outside of the pocket and drift towards his wide receiver, Pearson. Pearson makes the great catch, but I don't think his toe ever touches the ground.
Now we've got, it looks like, a timeout taken by the Hilltoppers.
Western Kentucky is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. The previous play is under further review.
Well, challenging that is a bit of a last-ditch effort here just to try and get themselves closer downfield. But as we look at the first replay of this, it never looked like a toe, as you said, John, got down and bounced.
Initially, it never looked like it drags on the ground. It looks like he wants to put it down but can't get there to secure the catch. So I think this call is going to stand.
Yeah, the first body part down appeared to be the right knee out of bounds.
Yes. The momentum of the throw carries Pearson out of bounds before he can toe tap on the sidelines.
The rest of the play, though, he had nice control, good
After
possession of the
review,
ball.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. It's an incomplete forward pass. Western Kentucky will be charged their first timeout of the half.
Well, tonight on SportsCenter, 1:45 Eastern, 10:45 Pacific, after Arizona USC on ESPN. Well, it's all about college football. Take a look at how Bedlam impacts the college football playoff race. Check in with Herbie and look at the Heisman race as well. Linda Cohn, Stan Verrett, SportsCenter, available after the game, also on the ESPN app. On 3rd down and 10. White has to use his wheels. And a flag is in again. Coming from the backside of the play after the incompletion.
They may get Herndon again for interference.
Defense, number 8. That's a 10-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Vanderbilt sure isn't making it easy here at the end of this game.
Not with 1:16 left to go. They have a comfortable lead, but they keep giving the Hilltoppers chances on offense. Good job again, flushing Mike White from the pocket. There's the hold, the right arm around Jernigan.
Vanderbilt off penalized in the first half last week against South Carolina. Matching those numbers here in the 4th quarter. White escapes one set of arms. It's a second that brings him down as he goes toward the sideline and away from the pursuit of the Vanderbilt defense.
And I'm not so sure Mike White didn't get his ankle rolled up after that play, at the end of that play. Looked like Herbert or Mentz in pursuit. He misses there. Herbert here dives for him before White can get out of bounds, and that right ankle or right leg may have been pinned underneath. Take a good look on this angle. See if that ankle gets pinned underneath him there.
Well, Derek Mason has been very intentional in what he's said after games this year. When his team has won, he's been very quick
Western Kentucky. That's
to give credit to the players. When the team has lost, he's been very quick to place the blame on himself because he knows that if he blames players after a game, guys who are 18 to 22 years old, he might lose them, and if he loses them in 1 week, he might lose them for the season. So part of what he does, the reason he does that is because he knows he needs that buy-in for the entire year to have it be the team doing everything together. He's rallying the troops right there as not only the team's head coach, but also the defensive coordinator.
Well, I think he realizes that there are correctable moments that you can get done on Sundays and Mondays, and they don't need to happen on Saturday afternoons after the games or Saturday evenings after games. So he's taking the correct approach, handle it in-house. I'll take the blame. I'll get guys, my coaching staff in the meetings. I'll get the players in meetings, disperse who's responsible for it internally, and then move on and try to correct those imperfections.
A great 3-0 start for the Commodores this year and win over 18th ranked K-State, their first 3-0 start since 2011, but then running through the gauntlet of SEC play. You got Alabama, Georgia in there, losing by almost 30 points a game, but a win here today, which they are close to locking up with just a minute to go. means that they only need to win 2 of their last 3 games to close out the season to be bowl eligible for the 2nd straight year. Dialing up a run here with Drew Eccles at quarterback for Western Kentucky.
It's a shame Mike White went down on a last-minute play, last-second play in this game, because the career he's had moving from South Florida to Western Kentucky and all the yards he's thrown for, you hope it's not serious and doesn't keep him out of the rest of the season.
So another Florida native comes in at quarterback. Nowhere to run. The Vanderbilt defense right now just teeing off against a young offensive line. So 6th sack today as Josh Smith gets in on the action.
That's a 30-second timeout.
Eccles just 8 pass attempts in the last year, including this season. 12 passes last year, 8 this year. Played his high school football at Warner Christian Academy down in Florida. Vanderbilt knows now they're just 30 seconds away from snapping a 5-game slide.
It's got to feel good for head coach Derek Mason. That gauntlet of Alabama and Florida and Georgia, Ole Miss and South Carolina. It didn't look good then, it didn't look good after, but it feels better now when you look at the remaining schedule and the FPI percentage to win. You've got to turn it around. You've got to find a way to get 2 of those victories from Kentucky, Missouri, or at Tennessee to close out the season.
At the end of the season last year, it was a huge win here at home against Tennessee to clinch bowl eligibility. And it's going to be another huge game this year, in part with what may be at stake for Vanderbilt and with the coaching situation seemingly in flux every week for Butch Jones in Knoxville. Something that, despite what coaches might say, Derek Mason is quite aware of how that's playing out over at Tennessee. Eccles unloads, and his pass is intercepted. So Vanderbilt seals the deal. Ryan White, the 3rd-year captain, an appropriate guy for the interception that snaps a 5-game losing streak for Vanderbilt, and they get their first win since week 3 against Kansas State.
Well, the defense really was part of the story. They did a great job. 6 sacks, gets the turnover at the end to seal the game at 31-17. So it was a shared victory, offense, defense, and special teams for Vanderbilt today.
Emotional moment, hugs between 2 guys who spent a few years together at Stanford on the coaching staff there, lived about 30 feet away from one another. And Vandy gets the best of Western Kentucky at home here in Nashville. We thank you for joining us today, our production team this afternoon on a glorious Mid-South day led by Eric Posman. Statistician Joe Sullivan, spotter Tim Swartz. I'm Mike Cousins on behalf of my partner John Congemi, saying so long. Vanderbilt's a winner. The losing streak is gone. 31-17 the final. ESPN Goal Line is next. So long from the Music City.